Welcome to our video on 5 excellent low glycemic load foods for diabetics. You may have heard about the glycemic index, but have you heard of glycemic load? What does a food's glycemic load value signify, and what does it have to do with diabetes? Living with diabetes can feel like a losing battle. One wrong move and your blood sugar levels could spike dangerously high or drop too low. But here's the good news. Managing diabetes doesn't have to mean depriving yourself of delicious meals. You just have to find the right ingredients, and the glycemic load can aid you in your quest. Were you aware that some starchy fruits and vegetables carry a significant glycemic index value, while also clocking in as low glycemic load? That's why, in this video, we'll be revealing 5 of the most satisfying and nutritious foods, which may give you reasonably high GI scores, but still clock in with low GL numbers. How is that possible? What exactly does that mean for your food and your blood sugar? And what's the difference between these two methods of identifying the foods that may skyrocket your blood sugar? Stay tuned to learn the truth about the glycemic index versus the glycemic load. And get ready to fall in love with 5 amazingly nutritious carbohydrate-rich foods that will not spike your post-meal glucose. We'll also show you how to add them to your dish for the maximum glucose stabilizing power. Plus, stay tuned to the end of this vid to discover other notoriously carb-heavy but surprisingly low glycemic load foods. These are 5 incredible low glycemic load foods for diabetics. First off, it's important to understand the difference between glycemic index and glycemic load. The glycemic index is a measure of how much a food will affect blood glucose levels compared to pure glucose. It gauges how quickly a 50-gram serving of carbohydrates within a specific food may become digested and absorbed. The glycemic load, however, takes all of this a step further. A food's GL score takes into account both how quickly 50 grams of carbohydrates in a food will be digested and the actual amount of carbohydrates within a serving of that food. The glycemic load of a food is calculated by multiplying its glycemic index score by its amount of carbohydrates in grams, and is then divided by 100. And it's why many doctors and nutritionists now consider this to be a more accurate assessment of how high and how fast a food may raise your blood sugar. Because some foods may have the ability to quickly raise your blood sugar, but you may also only eat a small amount of that food, meaning that, in reality, it may not actually lead to a glucose spike if you eat an appropriate portion. The glycemic load takes this into account by making a food's carb content part of the equation. So, here's the GI scale. Low glycemic index equals a score of 0 to 55. Medium glycemic index equals a score of 56 to 69. High glycemic index equals a score of 70 or higher. And this is the GL scale. Low glycemic load equals a score of 1 to 10. Medium glycemic load equals a score of 11 to 19. And high glycemic load equals a score of 20 or greater. Now that the difference between glycemic index and glycemic load is becoming more clear, it's time to reveal 5 excellent carb-centric foods, which may carry a notable glycemic index score, yet still clocks in with a low glycemic load value. So, let's get this started with number 5, Pumpernickel bread. Yes, bread in general is full of carbs, and it's become the poster child for glucose spiking foods. And pumpernickel bread carries a glycemic index score of 56, classifying it as a medium glycemic index. However, its glycemic load score is 7. That makes pumpernickel bread a low glycemic load bread choice. Indeed, this type of bread is high in soluble fiber, which helps to slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. It also works to lower cholesterol in your body. And get this, Pumpernickel bread also gives you a helping of protein. Protein works to make you fuller quicker, and it also slows your digestion, essentially helping to minimize the risk of a post-meal blood sugar spike. Pumpernickel is less processed than other types of bread, and it supplies whole grains. That means it keeps the grain kernel intact, while grains give you all three elements of the grain: the germ, the bran, and the endosperm. The bran, or the outer layer of the grain, contains a high amount of fiber, plus other diabetes-fighting vitamins and minerals. The germ, or the innermost layer of the grain, holds important vitamins, plus heart-healthy fats. The endosperm, or the high-starch middle section of the grain, is the section of the grain which supplies the energy-rich carb content. Refined grains are milled, which removes the bran and the germ, leaving only the endosperm for you to consume. That's why refined grained foods, like white breads, crackers, and many cereals, may lead to a blood sugar spike. They'll give you plenty of calories and sugar, but little to no fiber, or other glucose-stabilizing vitamins and minerals. But pumpernickel bread specifically is also lower in calories than other types of bread, and it's loaded with a range of beneficial micronutrients, including calcium, magnesium, manganese, and selenium. Pumpernickel is also famous for its supply of multiple B vitamins, which can aid your body's energy production, red blood cell production, and the health of your nervous system and digestive system. Plus, pumpernickel gets its dark color from its rye content, which gives you anti-inflammatory antioxidants, including lignans. Lignans have been shown to lower the risk of heart disease, osteoporosis, and certain forms of cancer. So, simply swap out your typical slices of white bread to create your next low GL sandwich. Which starch-heavy vegetable sounds sugar-rich, but is still classified as low glycemic load? That's coming up. But let's reveal a surprising dinner side dish classic that will give you complex carbs without spiking your blood sugar. Number 4. Green peas. These legumes may supply a sizable carb load, but don't worry, they shouldn't spike your blood sugar. Why? Their GI score comes in at 51, putting them right on the edge between low GI and medium GI. But they have a tiny GL score of just 4. Indeed, green peas are an excellent source of dietary fiber to help slow your body's digestion of carbohydrates, lower your cholesterol, and aid your regularity. And like pumpernickel bread, they'll also give you a dose of protein, further aiding your post-meal glucose levels. Green peas contain several beneficial vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, C, and K, folate, iron, magnesium, and zinc. Vitamin A can reduce the risk of diabetes-related macular degeneration, while vitamin C may aid post-meal glucose regulation. And did you know folate, or vitamin B9, has been shown to improve the health of those suffering from diabetes? A recent study published in the journal Diabetes and Nutrition revealed that diabetic participants who consumed folic acid for 3 months experienced reducing fasting blood sugar, lower HbA1c readings, decreased serum insulin levels, and a general reduction in their insulin resistance. Plus, green peas supply a range of other phytonutrients, including antioxidant polyphenols, which may have beneficial effects on insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism in people with diabetes and prediabetes. What other nutrient-dense carb-heavy grain is high GI but low GL? The answer is just ahead. But first, it's time to gift you with 3 incredible diabetes-fighting guides. All you have to do is click the link in the description below and you'll receive the Superbook, Superfoods for Diabetics, Episode 1 of the Super Series, That Diabetes Documentary, and the Super Cookbook, Snacks, Meals, and Desserts that Lower Blood Sugar. So click the link below now to instantly grab each of these insulin sensitivity improving guides. Alright, let's get back to today's list with number 3, couscous. Here's another satisfied and filling grain, which shouldn't negatively impact your blood sugar levels. How's that possible? Couscous clocks in with a whopping GI score of 65, firmly planting it in the medium glycemic camp. But at the same time, it still manages to attain a low glycemic load score of 9. Like other foods in this list, its secret, or not so secret weapon, is its supply of dietary fiber. Though, to gain the most fiber content, you'll want to be sure to select whole grain couscous. Couscous also supplies protein, which helps regulate your appetite by reducing cravings, and a 1 cup serving only contains approximately 175 calories. Meanwhile, this grain supplies a wealth of diabetes-fighting micronutrients, including B vitamins, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and zinc. Plus, a serving of couscous can give you an incredible 60% of your daily recommended intake for the diabetes-fighting, heart-aiding mineral selenium, which provides anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects to your body. And studies show that selenium can help repair cell damage, aid thyroid function, lessen oxidative stress, and reduce arterial plaque buildup. That's why getting proper levels of this essential mineral can work to lower the risk of both heart disease and cancer. And for added value, couscous is super easy to prepare. Just add boiling water or broth to these grains and let them sit for 5 minutes before fluffing them up with a fork or spoon. What is possibly the highest GI food with the lowest GL score? Today's number 1 is almost here, but first, check out number 2, parsnips. This root vegetable is closely related to carrots, but it does have a higher glycemic index rating than its more famous orange cousin. But while a typical parsnip carries a GI score of 52, its GL score comes in at just 4. Parsnips are an excellent source of both soluble and insoluble fiber, which means this veggie can help to lower your cholesterol and your blood sugar while aiding your digestion and regularity. And naturally, parsnips provide a long list of other beneficial anti-inflammatory micronutrients, including vitamins C, E, and K, folate, iron, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. In fact, parsnips are surprisingly high in ascorbic acid, aka vitamin C. A single serving of parsnips can give you approximately 25% of your daily vitamin C requirement. This famous antioxidant not only works to aid your immune system, it also protects against cancerous free radical damage. Studies also show that it can help lower blood pressure and post-meal glucose levels. Parsnips are also particularly high in potassium content, another powerful antioxidant which aids blood pressure regulation. They are also a good source of polyacetylenes, organic compounds which may help reduce oxidative stress while lowering the risk of certain forms of cancer. And at the end of the day, parsnips are low in calories and can be easily added to a wide range of diabetes-fighting dishes, raw, baked, or sautéed. Are you ready to discover one of the best carb-rich but low glycemic load foods for diabetics? For the maximum summer refreshment, with a minimal impact on your blood sugar, go for number 1, watermelon. Lately, classic watermelon has gotten a bad rap when it comes to glucose control, as it is known to be high in natural sugars. Watermelon did get slapped with a whopping GI score of 72, and some estimates put that number as high as 80. However, it has received an incredibly low GL score of only 4. Amazing. So what does that mean for you? Well, you can healthfully enjoy a serving of watermelon without fear of a blood sugar spike. This is largely due to its wealth of glucose-stabilizing micronutrients, and as its name suggests, its extremely high water content, which helps to keep you hydrated, flushes toxins from your body, and increases your feelings of fullness. At the same time, this warm weather delight supplies an assortment of anti-inflammatory and anti-diabetes micronutrients, including vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. It also contains the anti-inflammatory antioxidant lycopene, which studies suggest may lower both blood pressure and cholesterol. Lycopene has also been shown to decrease the risk of age and diabetes-related macular degeneration. Plus, watermelon is a good source of the compound citrulline, an amino acid which can improve exercise performance, further aiding your quest for lower weight and decreased insulin resistance. So now you can see that there are at least a few incredible foods which supply carbohydrates but still clock in as low glycemic load. Eating these foods as part of a balanced meal, with lean and plant-based protein, plus unsaturated fats and foods which supply omega-3 fatty acids, will most likely not spike your blood sugar. But they will give you plenty of heart-aiding, diabetes-fighting benefits. And as promised, here are a few more potentially high GI but low GL foods that can still make their way into your blood sugar balancing diet. Try whole wheat bread, which can score as high as 71 on the glycemic index, but still has a low glycemic load score of 9. Black beans, which carry a not so low GI score of 30, but still have a GL score of just 7. And don't forget about other potentially high carb but nutritious packed fruits, including grapes, which clock in at 59 on the GI scale, making them high glycemic index, but they still only have a GL score of 11, placing them in the medium glycemic load range. Apples, which approach the higher end of low glycemic index with a score of 39. However, they are still low glycemic load with a score of only 6. Peaches, which are on the higher end of low GI with a score of 42, but carry a GL score of just 5. And oranges, which, of course, sound sweet and score a 42 on the glycemic index, but still manage to pull off a glycemic load score of only 4. So, there you have it. You can enjoy certain foods, which are not exactly low glycemic index, but still come in as low glycemic load, and therefore should not significantly increase your blood sugar. In fact, these foods can help you improve your insulin sensitivity. But what are your feelings and your thoughts about our list? Did we miss any of your favorite carb-heavy but glucose-stabilizing foods? Comment below to let us know. And before you head out, don't forget to grab your 3 free gifts with the link below. Please like, subscribe, and feel free to give us a super thanks by clicking the thanks button. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you're having a diabetes fighting day.